Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all.
Growing up in the 90s as a dumb American boy, my ideal of Godzilla was very different from a lot of other people. You see, my first time watching Godzilla was Roland Emmerich's 1998 version. Now I remember liking Roland Emmerich's movie when I was younger, and even to this day I don't hate the movie, but I most definitely feel like I didn't take anything away from it. It's just aight. As hard as it is to believe, I've never watched any of the original Toho Godzilla movies. Until now, of course. And what a better way to start off watching the original Toho Godzilla movies than Ichiro Honda's OG kaiju film, the original Godzilla. Godzilla, or Godzilla, gets right into the action, with two ships being destroyed, the Eiko Maru and Bingo Maru, right off the coast of Odo Island. This event causes two of the movie's main protagonists to get involved. Emiko, played by Momoko Kochi, and Ogata, played by Akira Takarada. The two are in a sort of hidden relationship, as Emiko has an arranged marriage with a Dr. Serizawa, played by Akihiko Hirata. Ogata's involvement is due to him being in the Coast Guard, and Emiko's is due to her father Kyohei Yamane, played by Takashi Shimura, who acts as a key paleontologist within the movie. Oto Island is ravished by what appears to be a storm, but locals claim to have seen a giant creature, causing Oto officials to request help from local governments. The island residents name the creature Godzilla, a name passed down generation to generation about an ancient sea creature living in the sea. This scene with Oto Island being damaged has a great emotional scene with Toyaoki Suzuki, who plays Shinkichi in the movie. Watching his home collapse with his family still in it is a pretty powerful scene and does a really great job of just showing the damage Godzilla can do when on the move. Also, just look at this helicopter miniature rollover. Come on, how could you not love that? Dr. Yamane is sent to Oto Island with a research group and finds giant footprints that are radioactive and an extinct trilobite in one of the footprints. While conducting their research, Godzilla appears for the first time in cinema history, and dang it, it is absolutely glorious. I actually found this scene adorable and chuckled quite a bit. Now I know that's probably not what the original creators intended for their viewers' reaction, but believe me, I absolutely love the scene and absolutely respect the creators' work here. The following scene is possibly my favorite in the entire movie. Yamane has a briefing detailing that the creature is most likely from the Cretaceous period, and shows a photo taken from their encounter. I love the fact that the photo is a drawn picture when they didn't actually use a photo of the actual scene. Something about the contradiction between the photo and the actual scene is pretty great. Yamane's theory is that Godzilla was residing in a deep-sea crevice in the sea and feeding off of deep-sea organisms, but recent experimental nuclear detonations altering his habitat have caused him to resurface. Now, this movie's release was 9 years after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, so there's very much an anti-nuclear sentiment within the movie. And I don't know, I kind of think of it as an interesting reason for Godzilla's awakening. Later in the movie, a newspaper reporter asks Emiko to introduce him to her fiancé, Dr. Serizawa. For me, it wasn't quite clear why the reporter wanted to speak to Serizawa in particular. I mean, he was tasked with covering the creature, so why not interview Emiko directly when her father is Dr. Yamane, a renowned paleontologist and who is already covering the creature? I don't know. Dr. Serizawa does not agree to interview with the reporter and asks Ogata to leave as well. Then he asks Emiko to follow him downstairs into his lab and shows her a form of energy or liquid that he calls the oxygen destroyer. It essentially takes the oxygen out of whatever liquid form it's poured into and causes whatever organisms around it to asphyxiate. He then asks Emiko to keep his secret and not to tell anyone, because if in the wrong hands, could cause immense damage to the world. Of which, yeah, of course she's gonna keep his secret. Wink wink, nudge nudge. Godzilla once again emerges on land, causing much destruction and killing many people. I never knew how much of a villain Godzilla was in this first movie. Of course, in many of the future Godzilla movies, he's kind of heralded as a hero of Earth, so I don't know, this is quite different than what I thought it would be. The army is then brought in and prepares for another attack from Godzilla. They set up this electric wired perimeter, which is actually pretty neat, in the hopes of preventing Godzilla from making his way into cities. These measures, of course, are proven futile by Godzilla, easily being dismantled by Godzilla unveiling his atomic breath, another first time for the Godzilla universe. And once again, the miniature work here is just absolutely awesome. You just really don't see this kind of stuff in many modern movies anymore. The look of Godzilla blowing up little tiny tanks and the sight of the miniature city on fire, it all just looks expertly crafted. Emiko, of course, feels responsible for some of these events and reveals to Ogata the contents of which Serizawa is concealing. They then confront him and a mild confrontation ensues, but cooler heads prevail, and a choir song sung by children over the television is able to change Serizawa's mind. He agrees to use his discovery to destroy Godzilla, but also wants all of his research destroyed in the process. The movie then concludes with Ogata and Serizawa making their way to the bottom of the ocean to Godzilla's habitat in the hopes of unleashing the oxygen destroyer upon Godzilla. Everything goes according to plan, but upon making their way back up to the surface, Serizawa cuts his lifeline, knowing that his discovery would never truly be kept hidden as long as he was alive. The ending for me overall is pretty so-so. What really makes it good is seeing Godzilla turn to straight up bones. That's the absolute best way to end your movie. All jokes aside, I'm really glad I decided to finally watch this movie. It really is, in my opinion, for its time, quite a spectacle, with really good acting and expert miniature effects. I mean, it's no wonder it's gone on to be the longest running movie franchise to date. If I was a scoring man, I'd give it 4 ChazmaN heads out of 5. Definitely a movie I feel like anyone should watch, and seems like a great starting point for going through the entire Godzilla catalog, of which yours truly wants to do. Hey now, I see you made it through the video and liked or even possibly loved it. Well, if you want to see any more additional content or you'd like to get into contact with me, consider checking out some of my social medias right here. And if you'd like to go above and beyond and want to support my channel monetarily, here is also a couple places where you can do so. And if nothing else, simply liking, sharing, and subscribing would make me the happiest ChazmaN on the planet.